Hey everybody, welcome to Super Comic Fun Time. Tonight is October 31st, 2017, and you know what that means. That means it's only a few days until Thor Ragnarok. Now this book has probably nothing to do with Thor Ragnarok. Who knows? The filmmakers tend to slice and dice the books, take the best elements from several different stories. Probably Planet Hulk will be more of your guide to what's going to be in Thor Ragnarok than this book by Walt Simonson, but this is a very good book. And as I mentioned in another video, at the time of the unboxing, I didn't know, but this is the second print edition of this omnibus. Originally, it came out in 2011. I didn't know that, so I apologize. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to try to make it through the first story arc. And this arc is a little long. This character here is named Beta Ray Bill, and it's a spoiler. I'm not sure if this is the cover. Like, I don't see anything else that could be the cover. So this is the cover. And what we have here is we have some forging going on. We don't find out what that's about yet. Then we got Donald Blake. He's on a college campus. And look at this guy. He's got what in the day we called a boom box. Boom box. That's because when you turned it on, it went boom, bum, 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 boom, bum, 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 bum. And it made you happy. See how happy he is? Now, it's true, we did have Walkmans back then, but they were pretty new. And we just enjoyed walking around with our music. Me and my friend would walk through the neighborhoods and we would play a lot of new wave. We really loved the new wave back in the day. Especially Gary Newman. Gary Newman was one of our favorites. And because Gary Newman was influenced by David Bowie became one of our favorites. And the Cars became one of our favorites. And we would just walk through the neighborhood. And we didn't even have like a nice fancy boombox like this. We had pretty much just a tape recorder. And we would walk and we'd be listening to our music and discussing stuff, whatever like 16 or 15-year-olds discuss, and that's what we were doing. I don't remember anymore, but in this story, Donald Blake is like kind of walking here. He says, "Who would guess that within this frail body lies the soul and power of the mighty Thor waiting to be released?" And he's kind of in this state where he's like kind of like liking being a human. And he's like kind of wondering what would happen if he couldn't be a god anymore. Because despite all the responsibilities, it is no bad thing to be the son of Lord Odin. He's kind of like having a discussion in his mind. Then he gets hit by a frisbee, and for whatever reason, S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up, and there's Nick Fury, a younger, better-looking Nick Fury than the last time we saw him, which was in Planet Hulk, and he's smoking something. The thing about Nick Fury is you never know if you're dealing with Nick Fury or a life model decoy, which is kind of like a living mannequin that looks exactly like the person, acts exactly like the person, and is pretty much indistinguishable from the person. So through the years of Marvel Comics, we've never known when we have Nick Fury and not. So anyways, Nick Fury abducts Donald Blake and says, "We got something coming in fast into the solar system." And that's what these scientists are saying. And so we think it's coming so fast, only the power of a god can deal with it. So Thor goes, "Hey, I happen to be a god." And he transforms into Thor. And then what this book does is it shifts. We go back to Asgard while Thor is busy flying to the incoming ship. And so what's going on here is you have Lady Sif and what's his name? "Oh, milady Sif, come and join Balder and myself in a hearty repast. We've begun only 16 courses since breakfast, and Balder is lately glum." But she's kind of bummed out herself because she loves Thor, and he's never around. He's always hanging out on Earth. So she's like walking on the Rainbow Bridge and, asking for, what's going on with Thor. "My dear sister, I have heard your troubles. What would you have me do?" "My poor darling, mayhap only Odin himself can help you now." I am a shield maiden, my brother. Your eyes and ears see all things. Whither can I find the clash of battle to make me happy and ease my emptiness? So yeah, she's kind of bummed out and she's looking for a battle. And we will get to that. So Thor ends up on this spaceship and he crashes in here. And suddenly he wakes up something that's in this cryo sleep. And well, we already know what it is. They spoiled it with the, quote, cover. So here we go. This is sort of like Universal Studios version. Well, this is actually, it just reminds me of what was in Swamp Thing that I did a video on the other day for release today. So be sure to check out Thingism 101, Super Comic Fun Times new show. And so you have Loki sitting here, and he's always depressed because he wants to be the king. But look how he's slouching. Nobody wants a slouchy king, Loki. And so then, like, you know, he's doing whatever to think that Loki, Prince of Darkness, should waste his time in monotonous exile while cheer and good fellowship abound in the land. Bah, I'm half a mind to. And then, like, what they're doing is they're, like, hunting these trolls, I think. I think this is a troll. It's a troll or a goblin or something. And so they're being hunted, and it's like, must hide, must hide. I kind of felt sorry for this thing. So here are all these gods chasing it. And then this is Lorelei, and she kind of, like, you know, she bats her eyes at it and says, do not be afraid, little troll. I can help you. I can hide you. Come, look at me, give me your hand, and fear nothing. And of course he comes, because who can resist the Lorelei? That's like the whole point. She was a river or water sort of goddess, and sort of like a siren. A lot of fine young men, fine warriors and sailors lost their lives to Lorelei. And so, you know, these guys come and they go, oh, Lorelei, you cheated. Well, she's won the hunt. They're not actually, like, mad at her or anything. But then Loki shows up and he goes, oh, I got something I want to do with you. I want to play a prank. And so they go off together. And then here's where we meet Beta Ray Bill for the first time. He goes, rise up, demon. You have pursued me only to find death. When I am through with you, you will welcome it. One thing that confuses me is, can demons actually experience death? I had trouble with, like, you know, those kind of cheap movies in the 80s and stuff. Not Goonies. What was that one? Ghoulies. It's like, you know, these things are demons. How come they can be killed? Anyways, I didn't get it. I still don't get it. So then Beta Ray Bill doesn't know what a god is and can't distinguish a god from a demon, which I guess is kind of like he's in a state of grace. He doesn't know the difference between good or evil. So he decides to fight Thor because that's what he was created for. Not fighting Thor, but protecting his people. He thinks Thor's a demon, so he's going to protect his people. And they fight, and they fight, and then Thor transforms into Donald Blake again, and what's his name, Beta Ray Bill, grabs his hammer. And then the spaceship has crashed on Earth, and we have S.H.I.E.L.D. there, and then, oh yeah, that's right. He didn't grab the hammer. He grabbed the stick that turns into the hammer, and he strikes it and turns into Beta Ray Thor Bill Thor. And then he throws the hammer. It's like, holy, like at the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. And it's like, awake, you demons. Your own weapon is about to be turned against you. Stand where you are or feel its power. And so, like, you know, Beta Ray Bill starts about to, you know, probably decimate the earth because he's woken up from a long sleep. He's a little bit groggy. He doesn't quite know what's going on. But then Odin shows up. Thor, my son, urgent need of thee in Asgard. I must call thee home. And then he can't recognize that Beta Ray Bill isn't his son, and he takes him. And then Donald Blake is like, oh my God, you know, it's like, my God, why have you forsaken me? And he thinks he's going to be trapped on earth forever. He even says it, do not forsake me here. And Father, so, you know, this is really good writing here. You've got a lot of allusions to classical literature, you know, if you consider the Bible to be classical literature. Next, a fool and his hammer. So here we go. I guess this is Thor 338. And then we got some more like this forge going on. This is all kind of presaging what's going to happen later. And then we get the recap. Let's go ahead and skip ahead. And then Beta Ray Bill is up in Odin's land in Asgard. And he still thinks they're all demons. It's like, who are you that wears the costume and hammer of Thor, of the mighty Thor? No Asgardian could even lift the enchanted mallet, let alone defeat Thor in battle. It is not for you to question me. Tell me, rather, where this place is, and who you demons serve. And then he's like, stay your hand, impetuous one. I have brought you here at my sufferance, and at my sufferance you remain. The power that cloaks you belongs to another, and by it I mistook you. Now speak. Where is my son? And woe to you if the answer displeases me. And then like Beta Ray Bill in his ignorance, in a way this is Parsifal. I don't know if you're familiar with Parsifal. Parsifal is a simple fool. He kills a magic swan that the Grail Knights take care of and kind of worship. And then he's a total innocent, like Beta Ray Bill seems to be. So he can go ahead and attack Odin, and he might get hurt a little bit, but Odin is kind of intrigued because the enchantment on the hammer, only somebody worthy enough can hold the hammer. And heretofore, I guess, I don't know the whole history of Thor. I don't know if anybody else has wielded Thor's hammer before Beta Ray Bill, but Odin is intrigued about it, and they might be canceling out that continuity. So anyways, we're back on Earth, and there's Nick Fury, or his life model decoy, and suddenly, boom! Yow! Not again! Now Doc's gone too. So Odin realizes his mistake and calls Donald Blake to Asgard as Thor. Father! Welcome home, my son. How stands thy zest for adventure now? Unabated, my lord, though I confess that a moment ago I feared that perhaps all my adventures were over. Ah, my youthful son, does this mean that your mortal friend has more faith in a one-eyed vision than my boy has in his own father? So I don't know. I really like it. It's like mistaken identity, but they kind of work it out. And then here's another mistaken identity. This is like the dark side. Like, it's important to remember that evil doesn't create anything. It can only kind of pervert what already exists. So Loki takes the form of Thor, and for mischief's sake, he is making out with Lorelei, where he knows Lady Sif is going to pass by. And we'll get back to that later. Then we get back to here. It's like we get Beta Ray Bill's story, and like these demons just started attacking his world. His people decided to escape, and they built a spaceship, and they modified him. They turned him into this, he was like the strongest one of his kind. They did all these contests and stuff, and then they modified him even further. And then let's see, what have we got here? The pursuit still goes on across countless light years, and they are slowly overtaking us, but we cannot find a haven. I found a weapon that may protect my people for all time, and I am loath to give it up, especially as I have won it in fair combat. What? I say thee nay, noble warrior. It was not Thor thou didst defeat, but a mortal shall I. And then Odin decides okay, the way we're going to settle this is you both seem worthy, so we're going to have you battle. And they send him to this lava place. This is like a trip to the underworld. That's what happens in classic mythology. Odysseus, before he can go home, he has to take a trip to the underworld. What's his name in the Aeneid? Aeneas, was that his name? Anyways, he takes a trip to the underworld. Everybody took a trip to the underworld, if they were a hero and worthy enough, because that's how they got information on how to get back home. And so here's a little side story. I don't really remember what's going on with that. Let's just move ahead to the battle, and then something old, something new. So what happens is it's supposed to be to the death, but both Thor and Beta Ray Bill are very noble creatures, so Beta Ray Bill can't bring himself to murder Thor in cold blood, so he brings him back. This is almost like Harry Potter. Remember in that one scene in was it the Goblet of Fire, where he has to bring the body back of, what's his name? I've read the books, but I'm not a big fan, so, I mean, it's great. Harry Potter is great. I'm not dissing Harry Potter or anything. I just am not the super fan that knows all the characters. So yeah, Beta Ray Bill wins the hammer. And we're going to just go ahead and flip ahead some. And so what happens is Odin takes on his form as the Wanderer, and that's one of Odin's forms. This might be where entertaining angels unaware in the Bible comes from, is like Odin would do this too. He would like dress up as a wanderer, and he would like wander around. He would look for hospitality, and if you received it, he would bless you. If you like said, "Get out of here, you old bum," he would like curse you. And but for the most part, he had his own agenda. And in this case, he's coming to these guys to, can you guess it? He's going to have a new hammer made. I think that's not a spoiler. And so Lady Sith is still looking for something to make her feel alive again. And, both Thor and Beta Ray Bill have been in the infirmary. And so, let's see. So what happens is, like, in order to get the new hammer made, they have to send a bride to their troll king, and so they send Lady Sith, but Lady Sith is a great warrior, and she defeats him, and so no marriage is happening. And this actually suits the trolls. It's like the troll king was a bully, and they didn't really like him anyway, so they were happy to get rid of him. Doom! Let's just look at this part here. Alas, the rest of the tale must now... Okay, so we watch a figure who dwarves the stars loom over a mighty anvil and raise a sinewed arm above his head. Doom! And even over the thunder of his hammer, if you listen carefully, you can hear the murmur of the host, and the murmur says, "The sword, the sword, the storm is rising." And then, yeah, here we got what's going on here. So where are we now? And the echoes of the anvil ring all the way to earth, here to find upon a lonely lighthouse in the province of Quebec, Canada. Inside we find its sole occupant, a crotchety old gentleman named Rene Baroque. Blinkety blank, traveling saleswoman. What in blazes am I going to do with this food processor she sold me, eh? Whip up beans to death? Just you wait, and she'll show up again. Why, I wasn't even batting eyelashes, and she'll regret it ever. And it's translated from the vernacular from the French. So like he bought a food processor, he doesn't need it. But wait a minute, that's no knock. The whole blasted lighthouse is shaking here. But Renee is destined never to reach the door, for at that moment the very earth splits asunder. Free! Free! After all the millennia, now at last I will destroy those who thought they had imprisoned me forever. Vengeance will be mine. And then we go back to Lady Sith, and she beats the troll, and then like the other guys are like really happy. It's like, what's this? I have defeated your champion. The bargain stands. Most certainly, valiant lady. A good bargain it was. Too long has Throg lorded over the dwarves. Oh, they're dwarves, not trolls. Sorry about that. Aided by his freakish size, making life miserable for myself and my brothers. Yeah, I remember thinking, wow, that's a really tall dwarf. So whatever. So then, like, Lady Sith ends up back in Asgard, where Beta Ray Bill and Thor are still convalescing. And let's see. Okay, and there are furnaces, and so this is where the hammer is being made. Raking the slag, finish, prepare to tap the charge. And everybody's kind of watching. Even gods need safety goggles. So remember that, kids. Even gods need safety goggles. If you're working with tools, you should wear, hammering and stuff, always use safety goggles and maybe even gloves because they can protect you too. And always wear like a good shop apron. Okay. Now, Lord Odin, before the mold is cooled, release the enchantment now. That's right. It's like, well, that's why they're all there. It's like Odin has to put an enchantment on the hammer. And so, Kathum! And so, here we go. The power, it flows into me. I am changing. Bada boom! The enchantment is mine once more. And so, that's why there are two hammers now. One for Beta Ray Bill and one for Thor. And let's go ahead and skip ahead. So, like what happens is at the end is they are going with Thor's goats, and they are going to take Lady Sith with them because she's really bummed out and she needs some warring action to like make her feel happy again. And they're going to fight the demons that are threatening Beta Ray Bill's people. And so it's really kind of cool. You can take a cart like that into space, but if you're a god, you can do that sort of thing. I don't know if they would have the bravery to show that in the movie. It would look ridiculous, but, I would applaud them for it. I think it's kind of cool. There was this Doctor Who with Peter Davison where they had these ships, and I thought that was cool. I thought, they're aliens. They can probably make these ships look like anything they want. They're very advanced technology. So anyways, what is happening is they have to Thor and Beta Ray Bill have to go to the source of where the demons are coming from to defeat them. And Lady Sith decides that she's going to protect Beta Ray Bill's people while they go off and do that. And so, we go, we fight, we conquer. And so what happens is the scuttlebutt was Beta Ray Bill's ship. I might have missed that at the beginning. And so I think she's getting ready to die when the ship rescues her. And yeah, this is just a side story. It doesn't concern us now. If it concerns us later, I will go back to it. And so here we go. Thor and Beta Ray Bill decide the best thing to do is to work together to destroy the portal where the demons are coming from. And so they decide that they have to launch their hammers at the right time. And they destroy it, and then all the demons just kind of die because the portal was what was giving them their strength. They're gone. Bill and Thor must have destroyed the demon source. We've won. Sif? I'll be all right, Scuttlebutt. I'm just so tired. But Bill and Thor, still alive, my sensors tell me, and returning here. And so then, we go back to this subplot with Loki and Lorelei. Perhaps not. Still, I may have many charms, which I am certain will assist in his direction. But you, Loki, you have aided me in this endeavor. What reward do you look to receive out of the game? It will amuse me, my lady. It will amuse me greatly. So, yeah. So then, Thor and Beta Ray Bill come back. And, look, Odin doesn't have his eye patch. He sacrificed his eye for knowledge and hung from a tree for, 9 days? I should know this because I read American Gods. And in there, he's kind of a con artist. And so here we go. We got our Star Wars ending. And Beta Ray Bill is kind of bummed out because he was turned into a monster among his own people, and they won't be able to bear looking at him once his mission is over. But then Odin comes up with a new charge. To you, my son, and to you, Bill, let each receive what is needful. So speaks Odin. I feel no different. Perhaps not, but I had an old enchantment that has outlived its purpose. With minor alterations, I thought you might find it useful. So I think what's happening here, and I'm not sure because I'm not past this chapter, is the Donald Blake thing with the stick. I think that might be gone now. Don't quote me on that. We'll find out later when we do more chapters of this book. But what Odin gives him is the ability to turn back into his own people and only turn into kind of like the monstrosity of his people when they're in trouble. And he's going to be their Thor, I guess. And so then This is where we're leaving off for now. That monster we saw that ate that poor lighthouse worker is attacking. Odin, hear me. I have returned. No one shall stay my vengeance. The life of your son is forfeit. Thor is mine. Okay, and we're going to bring it to a close here. That's as far as I've got. I'm in the new one, so here we got this number. And I just want to say that I am not being paid by the Thor people, the Marvel people. I just want to say this. It's like Thor Ragnarok. See it in theaters starting Thursday. Of course, I'm going to go see it at 6 o'clock, so that'll be an hour earlier than the rest of you. So don't tune into my channel until like an hour later. I mean, Europe has already seen the movie, and everybody's already got reviews out, and it's the best reviewed movie ever. But I just thought I'd put it out there. I'm always hesitant of spoilers, but I think I'm going to do spoilers when I do my movie review after I see it. That'll probably be up on Friday. I don't know how much energy I'll have after seeing the movie, but it'll get up there. Maybe I'll just do a first impression like I see some people do. I just pretty much copy other YouTubers because original thinking is hard. So thank you. Remember to hit the like. Go see Thor Ragnarok. Keep reading comics. And comment down below if you have anything to say. Have you read Walt Simonson's run? This is really good so far. I was not surprised it was really good, but it's really, really good. And if you want to support this channel, please use my Amazon affiliate link down below. And that is it. Super Comic Fun Time out.